Hi. Hi, everyone. So, I'm your host, Neah, and this really isn't a Flicks Talk film, or a little video. It's actually just a surprise title, surprise topic. Maybe that will kind of give you an idea of what it might be about. Maybe. uh, so, I guess it would be under a rant. I guess I'll put this under one of my rants videos. Uh, so, surprise topic is I have this game called the Ungame, and it's like an 80s game. I think it came out in the 80s or late 70s, something like that. But it's a great game to get to know someone. You know, it's questions, or you can make comments or whatever. You just go around the board and either take a card or make a comment or whatever. You know, it's just answer questions. You know, if you take a card, you read a card, question, person answers it. But there is a question on there. So I am going to answer that one, except instead of being limited to like 2 items that it tells, or it asks, you know, like what 2 things would you do? I would do more than just those 2 things. So what the question is if you were president of the United States, what 2 things would you do? If that's not the question, it's very similar to it. But I would do more than 2 things for one. So this video is pretty much if I were president of the United States, what I would do, you know. I would this and that. Tell you the truth, just a little comment right there. I'd probably be assassinated in the first 100 days. Because I would have a lot of hidden agendas that no one but me would know until after I'm sworn in. And then my group of people would have a meeting that evening. And I say, this is what we're doing. And they'll be like, and they'll run out of the White House. Oh my God, what did we just do? No, I'm just kidding. I will have hidden agendas though, just like a lot of other people. A lot of those that are in office now or have been. that me, myself, and I will only know until after I'm sworn in. But see, I would have a tagline as I was running for president or, you know, being president. And I want to live by those 3 words through the whole presidency. So, I forgot my water. So there's this movie. Surprise, surprise, you know, movie lover. Of course, my tagline's going to come from a movie. A line from a movie, which should actually be this movie's tagline, but it's not. It's an 80s film. It came out in 1985 and has a lot of people in it. Some that were beginning works of certain individuals, or, you know, just another movie for some. But has Helen Slater, Christian Slater. No relation, by the way, of those 2. It's got the woman who does the voice of Lisa Simpson, and obviously this was done before The Simpsons, like right before The Simpsons. And so Lisa Simpson's, you know, voice is in there. Keith Gordon, I believe is his name. He's in it as well. He played the main guy from Christine, and also Ronnie Dangerfield, his son in Back to School. Another more 80s film there. Peter Coyote, he was in E.T. and A Walk to Remember and a ton of other stuff. He has a very cool voice. If you don't know him by his looks, you probably know him by his voice. I know he did some narration of an Oscar ceremony several years ago. So, but anyway. And it also has a guy from Top Gun in it, and I'm not really sure which one he is in Top Gun without me actually looking it up, which I could, but I'm not going to. But I think, actually I did look it up. I think, somewhat looked it up. I think he played Wolfman. He was the one that called Charlie, or Kelly McGillis' character, to tell her that, you know, Maverick just quit Top Gun. I think that's those. He's in this movie. that I getting my tagline from. And that movie is The Legend of Billie Jean. So, and the line is really simple. It's 3 words. And 1 word is actually duplicated. So, it's actually 2 words. Fair is fair, and I'm going to try to be the fairest president ever. Are you eating my pen? No, she's not. Okay. So, fair is fair, and I'm going to try to be the fairest president, as I said, as I can, and try to do things. I would see that would be see being a president. Of course, there are a lot of things that I can't do. I may be infringing in the state's laws or state's constitution, or kind of infringing on their rights. But being president, no. So of course, you got the normal topics, and some of the stuff. There are some topics that I'm not even going to cover that they used to cover back in the day, 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever. The running mates would debate on this topic, and they don't debate on these topics anymore. So, I'm not really going to mention them. I'm just going to say, you know what? Times have changed, and we have to change with the times as well. So, that's pretty much all I want to say with that one. It's not like I go one way or another. But I will say this, though. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Libertarian. I'm not a Federalist. Let's go back to the very beginning. No, I'm not anything. I am an American. That is my party. And one moment. And this right here is my rule book. I will follow this to a T. See? Everybody, to me, if you don't have a copy, you can even download it. I have the app as well. You should have a copy of it. And this tells me what I can and can't do. And stuff. And this even actually is a little... I have another copy, which is like really thin. This one's thick. Thicker. Because this has, states. Anyway, yeah, the U.S. Constitution. There's just like, I think the parties that are out there now, they don't really follow the Constitution as much or as they should. It's like they have a loose, it's like, we can do it, even though we're not supposed to, but there's a gray area. That they'll find a little gray area where they can do something that they're not supposed to, or vice versa. So, just all how you interpret it. Maybe they need to make it a little bit more cut and dry and stuff. But, there's one thing I am definitely going to do. And I don't think any candidate, presidential candidate, has even touched on this topic ever that I know of. And it's mainly probably because it's more state-wide versus nationwide, but I would want it to be nationwide versus just each state do their own thing on this. See, I'm an animal lover, so I would want animals to have rights, So, to me, the same rights that we have as humans, we should give to animals as well. Cats, dogs, pets, cows, horses, whatever. Because, I live in a state where, hey, a horse was killed. A cow was murdered, shot, whatever. And, oh, well, see, I don't know exactly what they do to the person that they actually find. They may give them a slap on the wrist or, small prison term or whatever. But here's the thing. If I go out there and kill a human, I am most likely going to get like a minimum of a certain amount of years, like 25 to life or whatever, or death penalty. Then that's what I want the people who kill animals get. They kill my dog or cat or pet, horse, whatever, sheep, llama, alpaca, anything that I have, chicken, if they kill it, then I want them to get the same punishment as humans get, pretty much. Life in prison. I got life, for killing a chicken. I don't care. It's a living thing. But here's another side to this that I think. I know assisted being, criminal justice major, and knowing that and studying that assisted suicide is against the law. But if we make life decisions for our animals, our cat or dog is really sick, and it's just better off to take them to the vet to be put down, to put to sleep, why can't we do that with humans? If I'm sick, I'm not getting better, I'm going to end up dying anyway from this. Just put me to sleep. So it's okay for us to take our dog or cat or rabbit or whatever, or have the vet come over and give it a shot and then, put it to sleep. If it's too large, to take there, then they'll come to you. We just need to put it down. To me, it's like, well, it's okay for us to make life decisions for our animals, but we can't do the same thing for us. Like, if I wanted someone to, give me something to drink and I fall asleep, I never wake up. Ta-da! If I had, stricken down by, a deadly disease or whatever, and it's like, okay, you got 6 months to live. I'm gonna live it up for at least 5 months. In the last month, of course, I'm gonna, if I'm about to die, if I'm on my deathbed, I'm, hours or day or whatever, just hours away from dying, just put me down. To me, it's just put me down. I'm about to die anyway. What is it going to matter? But of course, oh no! Legal system. Who gave her that cup of, poison? You are arrested for murder. She was just hours away from dying. That's why I would have to pull up, seek a lawyer and have this drawn up on a contract here. Listen, this person is allowed to give me without any consequence, not being arrested or whatever. Anyway, so that's just, so rights, animal rights, they should pretty much have the same rights as we do. I don't care if they're four-legged or if they're a cat, dog, whatever. If they are a pet, you have them as a pet. Snake, iguana, whatever, reptiles, frogs, turtles, anything that you consider a pet. If it is murdered by something, a human, then they should be punished as, me killing a human. Humans killing each other. That's just me. Let's move on, shall we? Alright. 3 little items here. Which may work into health insurance as well. But first, pot, asthma, and diabetes. What do they all have in common? Just me putting them together. So marijuana. There's a lot of states out there that have legalized marijuana. Some states have not. The state I live in will probably eventually legalize it, but it will be the last state of this country. Because this is just how this state is. So, this is the way that I look at marijuana, pot, whatever. God put pot on this earth as a natural healer. So, why? It was, why not just, why not smoke it? Smoking it benefits more than taking it as a pill or eating as gummies or sucking as a sucker. Me going through my cancer stuff, I did talk to my chemo doctor about that, and she said, smoking will benefit you more than the other stuff, and that was very quick discussion, and then she moved on. So, it's alright. I guess that was a big fat no. Of course, she didn't have, it's not legal here. So, anyway, so, I have, medical marijuana, but I gotta smoke it. Yeah, there's more health benefits to smoking marijuana than smoking tobacco or drinking alcohol, which those are addictive. Marijuana is not. See, if God puts it there for a reason, and as a natural healer, then He put it there, so we should be able to use it without being judged whatsoever or penalized or anything else. That's just the way I look at it. So me, I support smoking of it, not as a recreational or getting high part of it, but as the health benefit as of, from getting sick or sicker, helping those who need it for medical use. I support it that way. But not just on the purposes of just, hey man, I'm just going to get high tonight, smoking pot. No. But as for medical purposes, I'm all for it. So, kind of a little teeter-totter both ways on that one. A lot of my things I do, both views. Asthma. Dude, y'all, inhaler, the albuterol, that stuff is uber expensive. Even if you have insurance, I think when Trump was in office, it was really cheap, so that's great for people who have asthma. Now that Biden's in office, it's going up. Because, spending $50, $60, $70, $80 on one inhaler versus $5 or $10, that could be life and death to some people. And if you ask me, if I were president, I would give one inhaler free a month to those who need it. And if they need more a month, then just have them, at least with those who have insurance, just have them get another inhaler, more albuterol, whatever. If they have to buy more than that one free one in 1 month, then it costs them $5. Something really cheap like that, if they have insurance. If not, then maybe $10. That way, they could still get it, because it could be life and death with some of these people. With those who have severe asthma, they're going to need that stuff. And if it's so high, 60, 70, 80, that's a lot of money just for 1 month. So, that's what I would do. And that's only $12 a year, free. If you need more than that, you have to pay yourself. So it's not like I would still penalize the pharmaceutical companies. Just to me, all they want is their money. And when it comes to that kind of stuff, I want to just say something really outlandish. I'm kind of against the pharmaceutical companies on because they want to just pump you up with all these drugs. You don't need this. You need this. They'll push drugs on you versus something doing natural, instead of drinking a certain type of tea or whatever to help you fight this whatever you got, they want you to take this pill. And it's going to cost you, $50 or $60 for a month versus, a $5 box of tea. Or, I don't care if you have some form of cancer and if you eat a spoonful of mayonnaise a day, they will still try to say, you can't do that. The pharmaceutical companies say, no, that mayonnaise may have this and this is bad for you. They'll just come up with crap. They want you to take their stuff because they want the money. I'd rather drink the teas or eat the spoonful of mayonnaise because it's cheaper versus spending all that money on their drugs because they're trying to push it on me. No, ain't gonna happen. So that's me on that part. Diabetes, people need insulin, and I'll do the same thing with the inhalers for asthma. Make a certain amount, whatever they have, what they need a month free. Minimum that they have to have, and then if they need more, then they pay for it, but it's at a cheap price. With insurance, without insurance, it'll be a little bit more, but it's still affordable. Why make the stuff so high where people, as I said, it could be life and death if they don't have it. So make it affordable, make it free, and if they need more, then they can still buy it, and it won't they have to choose, do I eat or do I breathe? Or, it's as simple as that. Or do I pay my electric bill or breathe? Do I pay my rent or breathe? So when it comes to that, so that's kind of mixes in with, you know, health insurance. I'll just like, we need health insurance the way it was back in the 80s, whatever, where it covered like 80% of everything, and our co-pays were like $10. And so insurance now sucks ass. Sorry for the language, but it does. It sucks ass. Insurance needs to cover way more than way more like it used to than it does now. So that's pretty much all I'm really going to say on that. They're going to say, how are you going to do that? I haven't figured that out yet. Besides shoving my foot. Besides shoving my foot up someone's butt. Okay, also under health insurance. Service dogs, y'all. It can cost from $13,000 up to like $50,000 or plus just for a service dog. And that's not including, you know, feeding it and its vet bills and stuff. Service dogs are mainly there for a medical reason, so why aren't they covered under insurance? If I were president, service dogs would be covered under insurance. And yes, they would have to, you know, I'm not going to say, hey, you get a service dog, everything's going to be provided for you, for it. No. But I would give like a card to you, to the person who has the service dog. You know, get 10% off its dog food or whatever, because, you know, they're not all dogs. There's donkeys, because I saw one where I worked. They were training it to be a service animal. So, you know, so even if you have to pay for it, and the animal itself should be covered 100%. If you have to pay the medical bills and feed it, something's got to give. So health insurance to me should cover service dogs or service animals. It's mainly dogs, but there are other animals, so service animals. Da. Oh, and while we're on health insurance, pet insurance. I know pet insurance does exist and it's out there, because I tried, you know, to see about my cats, but they, you know, to me, of course, it's like humans or whatever. It's like how many is in your family, and that's how much they're going to charge you for. Pretty much, you have a family price or you have an individual price. And they were going to charge me for each pet. To me, it's like, no. If you have pet insurance, you pay one flat price for all the pets you got. And I'm not saying if you have 100 horses and 100 cows, that's totally something separate, different. That's like farm insurance, farm animals insurance, or whatever. You know, that's gonna be something that can be worked out later date, whatever. But for pets, it's just, you know, one flat fee. And then for, like, I'm not saying for a ton of animals, but most people only have, you know, 2, 3, you know, just, you know, not a ton. But, you know, let's say up to 12, up to a dozen. That way you can still have a lot, but it'll still cover it. You can bring in one cat to the vet one day and be covered. Take another dog or a dog to the vet and be covered. And so, you know, just pet insurance needs to be better. And it should be like a flat rate for like up to a dozen animals maybe, and then you could pay extra for each additional. So, you know, something like that. There, you know, pet insurance is out there. It's just, it's not what I wanted to pay for mine, because it was per animal, and it's like, I won't have a paycheck then. Sorry. Let's do schools, yo. And I'm not talking about school violence. That's some under different category. When I talk about this schools, I mean talking about some of the banned books that are out there, and I looked at some of the lists out there. You know, To Kill a Mockingbird, Catcher in the Rye, and Huckleberry Finn. And of course, they give the reasons why. But okay, so some of them I don't agree with. There is one book on the list that I did see that I do agree with that should be banned. But then again, they got the Netflix show. So if you're not going to read the book, they can always just watch the show on Netflix, and that's, 13 Reasons Why. But, there's just some books out there that's banned that should not be banned. If you ask me, I would ban Shakespeare, but that's just me. They would never ban Shakespeare, but I personally would. I have my reasons. But, yeah. And history. History's a big one, y'all. History books today are like being, candy coated. They're not really telling the harsh, gruesome, gory truth that it is, or it was. They're just, and they're reterming, like the word slave to like farm worker or whatever. And to me, no. A slave was a slave. It was not another lightly candy-coated term. And bad, harsh things, gruesome things happened in this country to make it what it is today. And we should be taught, and the kids, everyone should be taught the God-honest truth. No matter how bloody and gruesome it is, they should know exactly what happened, the truth. All around. So, just like, especially in the 60s, y'all, the assassinations, that's all of them. I swear, the more I kind of read about them or learn stuff about them, it's like, okay, got the JFK and RFK and Martin Luther King, and then I think Malcolm X. I know very little about Malcolm X, so I can't really touch on him. But the other three are like, okay, well, I did see something on Martin Luther King, and well, dang, he claims he didn't do it. Sirhan, he didn't do it. But there's proof, though, on that one. With RFK, I believe Sirhan did shoot Robert Kennedy, but he did not kill. He did not do the kill shot. That was someone else, totally different. When it comes to JFK, y'all, dude, it was like a whole organization. It was like, no, more. A whole bunch of organizations and from the government and the Irish mafia and all worked together to get rid of one man and hide it. So, but, yeah. So, 4 former presidents were involved. But when JFK was president, they were 4 future presidents. So, let's see here. Since that they were all elected before I was able to be, before I was even old enough to vote. So, I am in the clear. I did not vote a murderer into office. Yay. Yeah, we got LBJ, we got Nixon, we got Ford, and we got H.W. Bush. They're all dead now. But they're all guilty of. They all had something to do with the JFK assassination. As well as the CIA, and FBI, and the Secret Service, and Irish Mafia, and a whole bunch of other people. And when Oswald says he's a patsy, he's a patsy. He's been proven innocent of the assassination. And actually, I did watch something where a guy admitted he was the one that shot JFK. The headshot. So I was like, oh. Okay. But history, I mean, as long as they use the word alleged assassin, Oswald, that's fine. But that one word, if it's not in there, then kids are being lied to. So, while we're on history, I think, since this whole country has a fit over the Confederate statues that they're being taken down now, that I think, how about if we just have a park? A Confederate park somewhere down here in the South. And that's where all the statues that were taken down, because people just whined and cried, had to fit over. How about if we all have just like a, Confederacy park and put them all there? I mean, if we have a Vietnam War wall up and a World War II wall up, thanks to Tom Hanks, and there's a but you know what? Where's the wall for World War One, and where's the wall for the Korean War? There's not one as far as I know. I know certain parks, I think where Lincoln is buried, they have a little area for the Korean War, or at least something there for the Korean War. It's the Forgotten War. No one remembers that. But dude, I've been to the Vietnam War wall. So some of the statues that were around, that were Robert E. Lee or Grant or any of the other people that were in the Union or in the Confederacy or from the Civil War, that's kind of, people's way of, acknowledging their existence. Not really, I know. I just, people who make a big deal out of little things annoy me. So, that's another one thing I would do as president. Is that, let's see here, where is this? Oh, here. When it comes to offending, here we go. Y'all, I would be a harsh president. I don't care if something offends you or not. I'm just going to say grow up and get over it and move on. If a movie offends you, if a TV show offends you, if a place that sells something, a shirt or whatever, has something on it, offends you, well, I have simple solutions to that. You don't watch the movie, you don't watch the show, you don't go to that store and buy that shirt, or if any other business supports something you don't like, then don't shop there. Don't buy from there. Don't support them. It is that simple. But yet people have to whine and cry and have a little temper tantrum that where they just, have to stop it for everybody. And that's just not fair. So that's where I just say, grow the blank up and get over it. I mean, there's some TV shows from the 90s that that the millennials are like, oh my gosh, that's so offensive. They obviously have never seen All in the Family. They have obviously never seen that show, and that came out in the 70s. Give me a break. 80s show. Haha. No, but seriously though, it's like, I'm offended, with over some of these brandings in grocery stores. Aunt Jemima, Mrs. Dash, Land O'Lakes, they're getting rid of the Indian girl. Who cares? OMG. Me, I'm just going to say, okay, guess what? Flour is flour, butter is butter, milk is milk, bread is bread, peanut butter is peanut butter, pancake syrup is pancake syrup, jelly is jelly. Whatever it is, that's just what it is. Get rid of all the brand names. Just put it on the back of the package and it says, oh, okay, this is from whatever. That's the only time I want to see a brand name on there, is where on the back of the package where it says where, the phone number and the address of the place is. Other than that, just get rid of it. To me, it's just get rid of all the brands. Just, as I said, butter is butter. Bread is bread. Whatever it is, it's whatever it is. It's eggs. Ham. It's just beef. That's what I say. Just, forget the brands. And as for me, that's kind of like what the classified under being political correctness. I was, F you when it comes to political correctness. I just, when African Americans, that's about as political correctness I want to get. To me, yeah, Native Americans are Indians, but and Native Americans. So, but some of the other stuff that's like, oh my gosh, it'd be so political correct. That's so stupid. It's just so stupid sometimes. I'm like, why? So my thing is, if there are aliens walking around on this earth and they're from Mars, what's the political correctness term for that? Or if they're from Neptune or Venus or from any other galaxy or universe, what do we call them? We just can't call them aliens. What are we going to call them? What is the political correct term for that? I heard that Jesus was an alien. In a roundabout sort of way, not from like a other planet, but they refer to him as an alien. Let's see here. Try to finish one card here. Veterans. There are a lot of veterans out there that are homeless, jobless, don't have any money. Then there are some that, are fine. But, it's really sad that our country doesn't take care of our own men and women that, sacrifice things to keep us the way that we are. That, that we should take care of our own people before we take care of other countries. But that's just something that our country doesn't do. Which I would take care of our veterans. They go off to war, risk their lives. Some of them don't come back alive. They just come back in a box. And some will come back missing limbs or severely damaged, altered, not just mentally, but physically. So I would take care of them. As president, I would take care of them. That's just what I would do on that. Because, I know it's a choice thing. You go and you sign up, say, hey, I signed up to be in the Army or whatever. And they send you over, and you're in the front lines, and you get injured. And I guess maybe their line of thought is, well, you signed up for it, so whatever you get is what you deserve, which is my tale on that one. But I just think that this country needs to take care of those men and women that, put their lives on the line for this country. I know a lot of them come back and they're fine. Some of them are actually, or maybe too fine, and then there are some that PTSD, and so, but as I said, I would take care of them. If they're going to risk their lives and they come back with missing arm or leg, then to me, the government should. I don't know if the government completely 100% takes care of their medical bills or not, but me as president, I say we are going to take care of those men and women that come back. And as for like mental issues, I would say maybe not pay 100% of that, but it would be at least half covered, if not more covered for that, that the government they had a part in it. So if anything, 80%, anywhere between 50 to 80%, really depends maybe on how deep or how severe they are, because I watch a lot of true crime shows, and I think some of the killers out there did have a military background, and when they came back and they were severely, I'm not going to list names, but y'all, Oklahoma City. Anyway, right. How about let's give a big hands up for small businesses, okay? When it comes to small businesses, I think they need to be protected against the large corporations. I think it was so weird. I think I heard on the radio that last year in 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic all was happening, and there were more small businesses that popped up and were started than any other year. So it was really that's surprising. But yeah, I'm not just saying this because my sister has a small business, but small businesses, I think, are the heart of a business, I think, more than the large ones. So shop small and support them. And I'm not saying don't go to large businesses, but go to the small ones if you can. Support them. And even I think they need to have a little tax break as well. And as I'm saying taxes here, because I know one of these is, my next thing is about taxes. I think it would just be fair. Just have everybody pay the same amount of tax. There can be one amount for if you have a business, but then another amount if just as residents. And is he climbing up the ladder? Hey, kitty. You just knocked the camera. So, yeah, I just think, health insurance, or not health insurance. I want to go back to health insurance in a second, actually. But taxes just should be one flat, just, I don't know, 15, 17%, boom. That way, everybody knows what they have to pay. It's not different, like if you make this amount, between this amount, you pay this amount. If you make between this amount and this amount, you pay this amount. It's all kind of all confusing. Just make it all the same across the board, and then boom. That way everyone knows how much they pay, and ta-da, done. Things can be really simple. If we pay 17%, then Donald Trump pays 17% of all his $1 million, which, as I hear, he's in trouble. But hey, see, there she goes. She's moving the camera. So, so the rich would still get taxed, but they're the same tax as me, but I would only pay, like 17% of what I make versus 17 what Walmart makes. Or whatever. So everyone just, flat tax to me. Just that way everybody knows. But health insurance, though, let's go back to health insurance really quick, okay? Now, I would be glad to pay higher taxes if kids under 18, well, up to 17, if their insurance, if they just get free insurance. Anything that they have to go through before the age of 18 should be free. I would be glad to pay higher taxes if I knew the tax money would go to pay for that. But of course, you don't know what the taxes go to. They say, yeah, it's going to go to this and that, but it may go to that and this instead. So, yeah. Okay, you're going to have to be still or get down. Kiki. Meow. See, one's over there looking all jealous. I didn't tell her to come up here. Guns and the Second Amendment. Y'all, listen. When it comes to guns, this is the way I look at it. Okay? Stop it! Sorry. Sorry. When it comes to guns, this is the way I look at it. Some parties don't like guns and they want to take your guns away. By watching the show, how the states got their shapes, there's one state, I'm not sure which state it is, but there is one state that if you threaten to take their guns away, they do not care who you are. They will kill you. You can be the FBI, the U.S. Marshal, President of the United States. They do not care. They will kill you if you threaten to take their guns away. That's how serious they are about it. Okay. But I am not, as a president, I would never take someone's gun away without taking the guns that would protect me away. If everyone in Texas has to give their guns away, then guess what? Secret Service, your guns have to be taken away. All the guns that protects the President of the United States gotta be taken away. I am not going to be protected by guns if I take guns away from others. That's just stupid. It's almost like that's a double standard. It's okay for me to have guns, but not for you. That's not going to happen. I hate double standards. So, I won't take guns away. Guns are woohoo! And actually, see, I would actually invent a new gun. But I am not going to tell you what that is because I don't want someone to take that idea away from me. So, just wait and see. Yep. I have a new gun invention, but ain't saying it. But let me just say, it uses liquid and not bullets. Haha. This it says I just said double standard. Another thing that really knocks a irritates me is the double standard in Washington. You know, the Democrats versus the Republicans. It's like the Democrats can do something, but if the Republicans do the same thing, the Democrats have cow. And they're like, what? And like Republicans are like, what? You can't do that. Why not? You did it. That defeats the purpose. You can't do it. It's like, you know, it's like Republicans can't wear pink underwear, but yet Democrats can. Or vice versa. You know, whichever, you know, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just like, there's double standards. It's like, if the Republican tries to do something that the Democrat does, oh my God. It's just like, it's just, you know, the stuff will hit the fan. It's just, huh. And then the government corruption. Y'all, we gotta get rid of that. That's gots to go. Gots to go. I mean, I would clean house. If I could, I don't know, I don't think President even has this right, but dude, because, you know, people like to say you can't get rid of certain people. And just, you know, in the House or Senate, just, you're fired. Dang it, I can't fire you, you're elected. So, you know, it's like, oh well. Just I'll deal with it. But yeah, I would do what I could to end the government corruption, because this country is so corrupt. It is very pathetic, and there are times I say I'm ashamed to be American because of this country being so bad. Just cut it out. Good Lord. But one of the first things I would do, though, besides have a meeting with my peeps and tell them, here is my secret agenda, my hidden agenda, I would go and pay a visit to at a neutral site. That way I know at least it won't be recorded from the White House if she came here, and going to her office, I know it won't be recorded there, because everything in the White House is recorded. So, neutral site. I bring a witness. She has one. Just me and Nancy Pelosi would have to have some words behind closed doors, and I will take a contract, and she and I will sign it. Our witnesses will sign it, and whatever is said to each other and done to each other, whether it's fists thrown, whether it's punches thrown, or just words thrown, nothing that is said and done in that little meeting can be held against us, against each other, because we signed a little contract saying so. So I could threaten her life and say all I want bad to her, and there's nothing she can say, and there's nothing she can do about it, and vice versa. So that's about all I'll say about what would go on. Just words will be thrown, and I'll make sure that the contract is signed first, and whatever said can't be held against me, and I can't hold anything against her. Anyway. Yeah, this is what I think about global warming, y'all. Look, I'm not saying it's real or anything, or it's fake, but I do admit that, you know, maybe some of the stuff that, you know, with all the inventions that have happened in the past, like, 100 years, you know, maybe it has contributed to the global warming, but at the same time, everything goes in cycles. So, you think that global warming is happening, but there will be another ice age, and then there'll be another, like, a major heat wave, then there'll be another ice age, and then there'll be another heat wave. Everything goes in circles. So, you know, the way it feels outside right now, ice age. with ice and snow and everything. So, yeah. Don't know how solar panels are going to work with that if it's covered in ice and snow. Because the sun can't reach that. I don't, whatever. Anyway, yeah. Immigration. All I'm saying is with the wall, I just think people need to come to this country legally versus illegally. If they want to come here, just do it the right way. It's that simple. I mean, there are people that have come here and done it the right way, and then now they're seeing people come over and not do it the right way and get away with it, and we're not doing anything about it, but yet he, they, it, she, whatever, they had to do it the legal way, or else they would have to leave country. But yet, there's some people that come over and like, hey, welcome, and that's it. Like, wait a minute. They didn't do it the right way. They didn't do it the legal way. Just do it the legal way. I mean, what's the problem? Why can't they just do it the legal way? I mean, if we go over to another country, we got to do it their way. So why can't people come over here and do it the legal way? Yeah, and since, COVID-19 is a big thing right now, it's got a 99% chance of survival rate. So I do take it seriously. Don't think I'm not taking COVID, not serious, but I am. I wear a mask and everything when I go out, and there's a vaccine now. But, where's the vaccine for a common cold? And where's the vaccine for, I think I saw a post on Facebook where someone was being a smart tail, being a smarty pants, about someone getting Ebola or something. And they're like, oh my gosh, they gotta run out and make a vaccine for that. When is that coming out? So I was like, oh, they're being a smarty pants. Yeah, so, more people die of the flu than of COVID, but yet and I know that the country has been padding numbers for the COVID-19. The thing is that it's wrong, for one, that they're what they're doing. You can be killed in a car accident, but test positive for COVID, and they're going to say, well, you died of COVID, not because of the car accident. You get your head cut off, but if you're positive for COVID, you died of COVID, not by being beheaded in a car accident. So, something's not right there. You could be positive and still die of something else. But yet will you get down? Poor cat. Jeesh. Trying to talk here. Anyway. Well, I was down there. Knocked some things off. Punk. So yeah, COVID, that's COVID. If you want the vaccine, to me, you get the vaccine. If you don't. I don't think it should be required. I know there's some talk like, some employment, jobs, they're going to require employees to have it or you can't work there, which to me, that's a lawsuit in itself. But, if I don't want something, I don't want to get it, then I'm not going to get it. So then I'll just say adios amigos from that job and find another one. I said you shouldn't force someone to get a vaccine. I don't always get a flu shot every year. I didn't last year. I did the year before, but I didn't get it this past year. So sometimes I can't tell whether it helps or not. But that's COVID-19. Just if you want the vaccine, get it. If you don't. And if it's required for your job, then either find another job or there's got to be some kind of legal action you can take. Because right now, I don't think it should be required to keep a job. Just wear a mask, I guess. When it comes to police, we've had enough police problems in the past years, and that Trump was not the only president that experienced some police problems. Obama did too. You know, why? My big question for Obama is, Chicago was his hometown, or it may still be, I don't know where he is now, but why didn't he clean up Chicago while he was in office? Chicago is one of the most dangerous cities. I'm about to sneeze. Chicago is one of the most dangerous cities in the country, yet he didn't clean up while he was in office. So it's like, so if I become president, I'm not going to clean up my city. Pretty much, right? I'll do what I can. But, I don't know if he even attempted. Then again, I did go to Chicago while he was president, so anyway, I made it back alive. Still. But police, you know, this is what I'm going to do to try to keep things fair and fair, really. Every single cop, what I would do, I would go ahead. Every single one of them, it may have to be in, you know, shifts or whatever, or increments where I can't do all at the same time. But every single cop would have to go through some more training, so that way what happened to Floyd would not happen again. And after that training, then every single cop, I don't care if they were a policeman or a detective or whatever for 20, 30 years, they will be put on like a 30-day, maybe 30-day, maybe 60-day, whatever. There'll be some kind of time limit probationary period, no matter how long they have been in the law enforcement. Just that way, if they don't, you know, if they misbehave or do a little Floyd thing like that dude did, then, you know, no matter how long he's been a policeman and he's on that probationary period, he's out of there. It's almost like they start all over again as being a cop, somewhat. So, just get them better training. You know, don't stereotype. You know, it's transparency. You do not see color. I don't care if someone is white, black, yellow, green, purple, orange. I don't care. It doesn't matter what color they are. If they did something wrong, they did something wrong. Just don't pick on someone because of the color of their skin. End of story. Don't follow them. Don't tag them. Don't whatever. If they're speeding, they're speeding. End of story. Police. Prisons. Well, I think I saw something in a movie that would be really cool as a prison. And I think it was a prison in a movie. But the prison is what we should have now, though. This, I can kind of see why maybe, you know, the fire marshal may have a problem. Could be like a fire hazard. But anyway, I think that all the prisons should be built underground or inside a mountain. That way there's one or two entrances to the whole entire place, and trying to get out of there would be next to impossible. And have it be like steel. Someone try to, you know, dig out of there, then they'll first have to get through the steel, and then dirt or rock or whatever that's inside a mountain or underground, and, you know, stuff like that. Or the 1 hour that they're allowed to have, you know, outside time, so they are brought up by elevator or whatever, and there's the outside, and that's about the only time opportunity they would even have to escape. That or just there's a lot of prisons out there, and every year this state has people escaping the prison, and I'm like, what is wrong with our prison system here? I'm like, because it's almost like, again, not even surprises me anymore. It's like, oh great, again, happen again. Okay, what does he look like? What do I need to look for now? Yeah, so that's why I think there should be just one massive, humongous prison, or maybe just have 2 or 3 throughout the whole country, and just put the worst of the worst in them, you know. And those who just have little minor fractions, I ran too many stop signs or red lights, put a dang brace on their ankle bracelet or whatever, and do a little Disturbia thing, house arrest, It's just murders, though. The thing I don't get sometimes is someone can murder someone and their sentence will be lighter than a bank robbery person. Bank robber can get like life or death penalty, but yet the person who murdered someone can get out like in 10 years or less. And yet that person that murdered will go out and murder again. But the bank robber, he just wanted money, and he's not even violent. But yet he's in there for life or death penalty. Whatever. I mean, there's other things I would do as president. I kind of like the self-sufficient thing that Trump was having us do, versus rely on other countries to have their stuff imported in. That makes more stuff prices higher for us. So I prefer to be self-sufficient and keep the prices down. But I guess there's some people out there that prefer to spend the money on gas, on higher gas prices, versus keep it low. So I really love the gas prices when Trump was president versus now. It's gonna go back up to like $4 or $5 a gallon, and it was hardly even went over $2 with Trump. So at least where I live. But so there's more things I would do as president, but that's some of the things that I chose to talk about. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. Censorship. I hate the censorship thing. I think that, how about if you leave it up to certain individuals to make up their own mind if they want to be censored or not? As in, like, I don't want certain songs to be censored for me. Let me make that decision. Just like parents need to make their own decision for their kids. If they don't want them to see a certain movie or listen to a certain music or whatever, that's the parents' business, not the government's business. So, when it comes to censorship, leave it up to the citizens and not do it for us. There's just, I don't know, it's so I think I did touch on everything I was supposed to, and maybe I may not have talked to about other things, or I don't know, trying to do a little bit of rehearsal on this, and I got really emotional, involved, and into something, and I totally forgot what it was. Maybe I just didn't get into it this time around. Since I know I was filming. Anyway, so if I were president, those were the things I would do. Would those get me assassinated in the first 100 days? Some things may have, some things may not. I don't know. I do know that as president, I think they should know state, each state's laws and each state, constitution, because this November there were some states that they even broke their own constitution, their own laws, just to break them. And to me, that's wrong. But to me, that's a felony. I don't know if it's a really felony or not, but if the state is going to break its own laws and won't follow their own state constitution and just kind of go rogue, that shouldn't be allowed. So, not listing any names, but they know who they are. They know what states they are, that they went against their laws and their state constitutions, and they, to me, should be punished. But will they? No. That's why I can't stand the double standard. It should not happen. Can't treat one person one way and another person another. It's just not in government. It should be the same, equal thing. If the Democrats want to scratch their butt, fine. But if the Republicans can't, if they want to scratch their butt, then they should be allowed to. But Democrats may have a cow if the Republicans scratch their butt. That's just, that's just the way I see it. Because, whatever the Republicans do, Democrats have a cow over. It's like, all he was doing was scratching his butt, picking his ear, his nose, farting, burping. But the Republicans do that. Democrats just have a cow. He farted on me. Oh my God. Stupid. The double standards gotta go. Corruption's gotta go. Health insurance gotta get better. They gotta cover more than they do now. Like, let's go back to because insurance used to be outstanding, and now it's just, ugh. Insurance should cover no less than 80% of, like, surgeries and stuff, of major stuff. 80%. Co-pays shouldn't be over $20, no matter who you see. It depends who I see. Is it $40, $50? Okay. Man, pharmaceutical companies. Y'all, don't push your drugs on us. I think we have, like, drug problems now. My gosh. It's the companies that's making people being kind of druggies. And it's like prescription drugs, not illegal drugs. That is a different fight in itself. I didn't even talk about illegal drugs. Fight like any other thing else, I guess. I'll do my best to take them off the street. Anyway. It's a surprise topic, and so those are some of the things I would do if I were president. Even though I really kind of want to tell you what I would do for the guns, but I don't want someone to come after me. See me, I would, it would be like, one, kind of repurpose the paintball guns and the paintballs and just put nitrogen in the balls and shooting them. But the water gun one, though, state-of-the-art water guns, a certain type of liquid in there, be worse than bullets and shells. It really would. You just have to get a little bit closer to the person you want to shoot. That's all. Not the major difference. You just have to get a lot closer. Versus, yards away. But I wouldn't outlaw guns. You got a gun? All the world, I don't care. All the power to you. I don't care what guns you got. Protect yourself. Me, I prefer like a sword. Give me a samurai sword or something. I like sharp edges. Or bring back some of the medieval weapons. Some of the weapons you see in Braveheart. Anyway, that's... You have any questions, comments, topics I should have talked about? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you want. If not, then, whatever. See you next time. Bye, guys.